Breaking news. Putin is dealing with the worst labor shortage in decades, and as a result, Russia's economy is in shambles. Russian President Vladimir Putin's government is dealing with the worst labor shortage in decades, as a result of the mass exodus of citizens fleeing the country following the disastrous invasion of Ukraine. As reported by the MOD, the Russian central bank surveyed 14,000 employers and found that the number of open positions was at a 20-year low. The Ministry of Defense claims that the COVID pandemic and the conflict in Ukraine are to blame for the drastic decrease of 2 million citizens in just 3 years. After Putin's disastrous decision to invade his neighbors began in February 2022, the majority, about 1.2 million people, fled their country. According to the intelligence report posted by the MOD on Twitter, many of the emigrants were highly educated professionals from high-value industries. According to the Russian Ministry of Communications, 10% of the country's IT workforce, roughly 100,000 people, left in 2022 and never came back. Labor is in short supply due to mobilization, emigration levels never seen before, and an aging and decreasing population. The growth potential of the Russian economy will decrease and inflation could rise as a result. The owner of Russia's Wagner military contractor has threatened to pull his troops out of the protracted battle for the eastern Ukrainian city of Bakhmut next week because, he says, Moscow's military command is withholding ammunition from his forces. Wagner fighters allegedly plan to capture Bakhmut by May 9, the day before Russia's Victory Day holiday commemorating the defeat of Nazi Germany, according to Yevgeny Prigozhin, a wealthy entrepreneur with long-standing ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin. But he said they were low on supplies and taking heavy casualties, and that on May 10 they would hand over operations to the regular army. Prigozhin has a long history of conflict with the Russian military, and this is not the first time he has complained about a lack of ammunition and placed the blame on them. He is notorious for his empty threats and boasts, neither of which he has ever followed through on. On Friday, Prigozhin's spokespeople released video of him yelling, cursing, and pointing at the bodies of 30 uniformed soldiers. He claims that these are Wagner soldiers who have been killed in action since Thursday and demands more ammunition from Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and General Staff Chief Valery Gerasimov. Prigozhin remarks, "These are somebody's fathers and somebody's sons. Scum who refuse to supply us with ammunition will have their stomachs ripped out in hell." While final results were still being tallied as of this writing, it was already apparent that the Conservatives had been trounced by Labour's meteoric rise in support. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak called the outcome disappointing. Some have speculated that Labour could win the next general election, which must take place no later than January 2025. Expert opinions were cited by both the SNP and Conservative Home, the Tory-affiliated website, suggesting that the result could lead to a hung parliament. When there is no clear majority in the House of Representatives, the dominant party may need to look elsewhere for the support it needs to pass legislation. According to the SNP, this means the SNP holding the balance of power to ensure we kick the Tories out, in the event of a coalition between the SNP and Labour. Others pointed out that this outcome could give the DUP bloc a significant voice in Parliament. "Oh, the irony if the Tories need the DUP again," tweeted Unionist commentator Alan Day, at Kilsalley. "Even more to the point, Labour may need them too," said Kate Hoey, a former Labour MP turned Baroness. "They're both aware of the next steps. Simple. Northern Ireland should once again be treated as a full member of the United Kingdom. Stop the primacy of EU law and court systems in some areas of the United Kingdom." In an interview with the newsletter, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson said, "The general election is likely some way off and lots can change between now and then. The fact that neither Labour nor the Conservatives would be assured a majority if this local election result was replicated in the Westminster election should be a major takeaway for Unionists. Although Unionists' influence in Great Britain is limited, they can increase their number of parliamentary seats by working together to heal internal divisions. More seats in the House of Commons means more power for Northern Ireland.